What's going on, golf addicts? DB here. Course breakdown time for Bay Hill. It's the host of the Arnold Palmer Invitational. I've played this course about 5 times. It's one of my least favorite courses I've ever played. But here we are. It's an elevated event, signature event, whatever they're calling it. I'm going to give you everything you need to know, nothing you don't. I'm going to share my screen, open up, bet the number. We're going to look at the golf course data from the last 5 years. We're going to look at the scoreboard, look back at last year, see what happened when Kurt Kitayama won at 150 to 1. And then I'm going to open up my early model. I've spent some time on this model. I actually really, really like it. I'm very excited about it. You know what? I might even just blindly go off the model, like not just ignore everything else and just go off the model. We do that all the time, don't we? We make these models and then we just ignore them. I do. Anyway, I struggle with it. Hello, Eric Cole, mother, father. Actually, he rated high in the model, and I did blindly follow that one. Okay, let's get into it. First of all, I want to thank our partners at Swannies. I got this sweet hat. You can get a lot of sweet stuff. They just dropped a brand new spring summer launch. The Boomland, I think is what it's called. It's fantastic. Click the link in the description. Scan the QR code. If you're watching here on YouTube, you get 25% off your entire order on Swannies.com. Swannies.co. If you use code TJ25, and you can use that over and over again, we would highly encourage and would appreciate our Tour Junkies followers. If you want some golf apparel, cool hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, polos, shorts, pants, accessories. If your wife wants some golf apparel, if your junior golfer, junior junkie wants a little golf apparel, Swannies has it all covered, and it's U.S. based in Minnesota, family-owned company, shipping anywhere to U.S. and Canada. And it would mean a lot to us if you support the show. If you'd also support Swannies, that's how we have great partnerships like Swannies. So check it out. All right, let's get into this. Let's talk some basics. Bay Hill Club and Lodge in Orlando, Florida. I did look at the weather ahead of time. It's Friday when I'm recording this right now. I'm around 8 o'clock Eastern. The cut has been made at PGA National. It's been a disaster, but like it always is, I guess. We actually had some wind today, but Orlando looks interesting for now. Looks like we could get some wind for sure. That is the main defense of this golf course is wind. It is a Arnold Palmer redesign in 2009, par 72, around 7,400, 7,500 yards, big boy golf course. Water comes into play on about 8 or 9 holes. Bermuda grass everywhere. So your past champions, you've had Kurt Kitayama won last year at 9 under, 150 to 1. Scotty Scheffler before that, 5 under, 14 to 1. Bryson, the year he won, 11 under, 12 to 1. Tyrrell Hatton, 5 under, his only PGA Tour victory at 55 to 1. Francesco Molinari won here in 2019 at 12 under, 33 to 1. Rory won at 18 under in 2018. They don't set the course up like that anymore. He won at 20 to 1. Leishman, Matt Every, a couple other long shot winners, but for the most part, it's been a lot of favorites, been a lot of the mid-range, and then Kurt Kitayama showed up on the scene at 150 to 1 last year. That was awesome. Overall, it's one of the top 5 hardest golf courses on the PGA Tour every single year, and it can play silly hard if we get some real wind. The par 3s and the par 4s really are the teeth, as it is on most golf courses, but the par 3s are tough. There's some long par 4s with some serious approach shots with a lot of trouble, and so that means you got to hang on for dear life on those, and you got to really take advantage of the par 5s. Par 5 scoring is a must in the model. You're going to see that here pretty soon, and as well as avoiding bogeys. Tiger Woods won here 8 times. Tiger Woods hit it long off the tee, but wasn't always accurate. In fact, he won here missing big time at times off the tee. Sometimes it's better to miss big off the tee than just by a little bit here, as long as you avoid the water. But what was he known for? Incredible iron play, an incredible short game. That's what it's going to take here at Bay Hill. Off the tee, let's take a look at it. I'm going to share my screen. Let's go to the course page here at, let's see, on Bet the Number. So right now I've got it on the course page. I've got it filtered to the last 5 years at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. You can see off the tee, around 57% of fairways hit over the last 5 years. So if we're talking about off the tee, you're hitting about an average of 8 to 9 fairways per round. That is below tour average here at Bay Hill. Distance does help. And I think it mainly helps. It helps on the par 5s and through the mid and long iron approach play. So it's not necessary. Like the average driving distance does go down here at Bay Hill. And a lot of that's because, there are some holes where, you're maybe hitting less than driver. If we scroll down here to the driving card, this is all based on radar data. So understanding what clubs are being hit off the par fours and par fives over the last 5 years, Bet the Number does the calculation for you and says out of the 14 par fours and par fives on this course, 11 of them are driver holes for 75% of the field or more. So most guys are going to pull driver on the par fours and par fives, obviously, but there are a few where guys might lay back. The thing is like if they hit it in the water, obviously, or if they hit it in the rough can be kind of thick. It holds up the ball, doesn't travel as far. So therefore, the driving distance number does go down a little bit. But, again, 11 holes, guys are probably hitting driver. The rough can be pretty thick, and it can be penal. The fairways are kind of challenging to hit for everyone, especially if it's firm and windy. I mean, you see the fairway hit numbers below tour average. So I think if you're going to miss them and the rough is thick, like you might as well be a bomber. Average to short hitters can still thrive here, though. I mean, look at Molinari. Molinari definitely short hitter, but other than that, Hatton is probably average. Leishman was probably average. I don't know about Matt Every, but I mean, Kitayama, Scheffler, Bryson, Rory, Day, all longer than average, a lot longer than average for the most part when they won. So I do kind of think that the distance comes in handy here, but it does come in more handy on the approach play, which we'll get to. But if you're just a really accurate hitter off the tee and you don't really hit it that far, but you're really good in that mid to long iron range, like Molinari was when he won, that's beneficial. And like I said, Tiger did get away with some very wayward tee shots here. Sometimes, as long as you avoid the water, it is better to be far offline. I hated this golf course. I can't stress it enough how much I hate this golf course. It is literally the worst. Yeah. Woo. Bless me. You know what? I said it's 8 o'clock in the East on a Friday night. I'm having a cocktail. This is probably the first cocktail I've had on a course breakdown. So here we are. Yeah, I'm excited about that. All right, let's talk about approach play. On average, you're only hitting about 55% of the greens here versus 66% tour average. So that's well below. That's about 10 greens per round over the last 5 years below tour average. Arguably, this is the hardest approach golf course on the PGA Tour, given the difficulty to hold greens that are basically concrete, basketball courts when it's dry, with a lot of mid to long iron approaches. There are not very many wedge shots here, as you will see if we scroll down here and we look at the approach shot distribution. Maybe 3.5 to 4 wedge shots per round here. So most of this comes in these proximity or in these ranges, and so it's obviously quite tough. So this would be why you'll see something. You're going to see a stat here in a minute in the model that the Bet the Number folks think is important, and I've kept in my model. And it's unique. I'm going to show you that here in a second. In the last 5 years, like I said, we've seen an average of about 11 approach shots coming from 175 plus. That's what you see here, right here in this approach shot distribution bucket. So mid to long irons, here we come. And a lot of that's obviously made up from the par threes that are all pretty long, beastly par threes, and the long par fours. So approach play is primo here. Absolute primo. Whether it's windy or it's not, it's still the thing you have to have cooking for you here. Let's talk about around the green real quick. It's not just chipping from the rough or the tightly mown Bermuda grass. There are plenty of bunkers here to put you in a lot of trouble. If you look at the shot distribution around the green, you can see a lot of bunker shots, kind of the same number of rough shots and fairway shots. It's a pretty even distribution. You are going to have some bunker shots. It's around the green is going to matter. So last 5 years, players have averaged around 9 shots around from around the green, and it's a pretty even split, like I said, between the bunker, the rough, and the tight grass. So around the green is going to matter. If it's windy, it's going to matter even more. Hello, short game players, short game guys. So you got to do it all around here for sure. I do think Bermuda specific chipping is a big deal. Guys are either comfortable or they're not. Into the grain, down the grain, across the grain on Bermuda grass. That's what I have here at home. It is no fun. So you got to be comfy on the Bermuda. So that's something we're going to have in the model. You're going to see that here. And then green putting is really the least important factor in this whole thing, because I mean, the greens are very flat. This whole golf course is flat and boring. I'm telling you, if this didn't have Arnold Palmer's name and umbrella and all that all over it, this would be one of the worst golf courses you've ever seen. It's so forgettable. The only holes that you really remember are the dumb ones, or maybe the 18th, and you remember the one that like Bryson, cut the water and all. Other than that, like it's such a lame course. I hate it. The greens are lightning fast and they are grainy Bermuda, so that's going to matter. Looking at guys who have had long-term success on those kind of surfaces is going to be a factor. You'll see that in my model, but it is less important than your typical tee to green. So yeah, let's talk about a couple player quotes I have here. Are you ready for this? Let me actually let's do this before I go. You can see the average number of birdies, bogeys per round here over the last 5 years. Not a lot, similar to PGA National. And then, looking at our 5 winners, kind of what they did well, putting on the Bermuda is important. Um, Tough to gain a ton of strokes off the tee here, even Kurt, as long as he is, the distance is somewhat mitigated here, but you get it back here, hitting a lot of long to mid iron approaches, and having shorter clubs in that hopefully you're hitting higher. That's a quick tip for coming up later. We see the same thing if we look at the guys who finished top 5 over the last 5 years. So I do want to read a couple quotes here that are telling. Tyrrell Hatton, it's obviously a tough course to set up with the fairways are fairly soft, and then you've got firm greens. So if you miss fairways, you're punished because the rough is so thick, and you can't run the ball up onto the greens from the rough because, well, the fairway's soft, so they don't release. And then equally, if you're trying to pitch a ball on the greens out of the rough, they're just not stopping. So it's quite a challenge. Jason Day said you have to come to a golf course like this and just crush the par fives. That's more where all the scoring is. If you can get on the fairways, give yourself an opportunity to get to the green or around the green, let the short game take over and make birdies. Rory McIlroy said, I came away from this golf course kicking myself that I hadn't played it more often because I feel like it's a golf course that suits my game. The par fives are quite long, and I feel with my length, I can take advantage of those. I feel like it's a course that sets up well for me, and you can't feel good about your putting on these greens. You can't not feel good. Sorry. They're so pure. You get the ball started on line with decent speed, it's got a great chance of going in. So a couple quotes, couple things that are quite telling about Bay Hill. Now I'm going to get us out of here by looking at the model, sharing my screen on Bet the Number, and I'll talk about some inputs and what we like here. All right, so I've done the custom model here. This is what you're seeing here on Bet the Number, by the way. I should say that if you don't already have a Bet the Number subscription, what are you even doing? You can try it out right now. And if you use code TJ, you get $5 off the monthly, $50 off the annual memberships. The link is in the description, or you can scan the QR code. But if you are a member of the Tour Junkies Discord, a paying member, then simply send me a DM on Discord. You can send me a DM, say DB, hit me up with a BTN unique Nut Hut code, Discord code. And I will give you the best discount available to anyone, anywhere on the internet or the world. I mean, the parents of the owners of Bet the Number are paying more than what the Nut Hut Discord members will pay if you want it. So you got to hit me up. I don't give that one out for free. It's a one-time unique code. Check it out. But Bet the Number is improving every single week. Listen, they launched January 1st of this year. Do they have it all? Do they have everything? No. Are they building and improving regularly? I'm talking almost weekly. Yes. And the site already can compete and satisfy everything you need. If you're any kind of golf handicapper, DFS, betting, one and done, whatever it is you're doing, office pools, they can compete with almost any site out there right now. And the people behind it know what they're doing. That's why you don't see a bunch of dumb, ridiculous stats behind the scenes. You know what I mean? I mean, Tiger was talking about how he wears red because he's a Capricorn or whatever. If you got a site this has your zodiac sign that you can filter by. Oh, who plays best in February when they're a Gemini, and it's sunny outside with half past Palom, half Bermuda, and the president's a Democrat. If you got filters like that galore, I'm just going to tell you, we've been doing this 9 years. We talked to a lot of tour players, a lot of caddies, a lot of coaches, and the people behind the scenes at Bet the Number work with the same people and have for quite some time. They will tell you most of that stuff is noise. It is absolute noise, and it clutters your shit. So only what you really need is in there. They are adding a few things. They're creating their own stats at Bet the Number. So I'm just telling you, give it a shot. I bet you won't regret it. The site is improving. The ownership is dedicated strictly to golf. They're only doing this for golf. It is a golf company. They're not doing football. They're not doing NBA. They're not doing baseball. They're not doing hockey. They're not doing anything else. It's golf. So check it out. Support them. Support us. Code TJ or hit me up in the Discord. Now, let's open up the model now. All right, here we go. I'm pumped about this. I really do. I'm serious. I really like this model. First of all, let me show you the inputs. So I've got last 30 strokes hanging off the tee. I got ball speed. The ball speed's less about the driver, and the I will say the ball speed metric is calculated from drives, but obviously we assume that also impacts their irons and their ball speed with their irons. So it's helping me measure ball speed. Okay. Um, this is the stat I told you was a unique one, Apex. Like ball speed, it is a radar stat measured with par fours and par five tee shots. However, I gave it a small weight for the guys who hopefully hit it longer with their irons. Higher with their irons. Because that's what we want. That's why Rory said this place is perfect for him. It's not just the par fives. That's why it's perfect for Jason Day. That's why it's perfect for Bryson. Like, hit it high with higher lofted clubs into these extremely firm, bouncy, tough to hold, hardest greens on the PGA Tour. That's why you need it. Strokes gained last 30 rounds, 165 to 230 yards. I did this off the fairway and off the tee for the par threes, and these long par fours and par fives. Last 50 chipping off of Bermuda around the green. I did sand scrambling. So a lot of these I gave some small weights to. I just want to see it. Bogeys are worse. I named it no bogeys. Last 50 putting on Bermuda. Last 50 par five scoring. Last 12 rounds tee to green at the API, only accounting for Bay Hill. And last 50 strokes gained total Florida. This is only looking at Bay Hill, PGA National, Copperhead, Innisbrook, and TPC Sawgrass. Then you obviously have their last 5 weeks, their last 5 years here. And I'm not showing you all the model. I'm only showing you the favorites right now. These are not my favorites. These are just guys I think are interesting to look at for the purposes of this video. So I'm not showing you who the number one in my model is. I'll give you a hint. It's Scotty Scheffler. I mean, right? His name rhymes with Dottie Peffler. Okay. Let me take a sip. Okay. Ludwig. T24 here last year as an amateur. Play sets up quite handsomely for old Studvig. Okay. Thudvig. Sam Burns is going to be like, if Sam Burns opens 25 to 1 or longer on Monday, I think it's a hammer. As a person who's hit a couple Sam Burns victories, we know he can close the door. He's been playing quite well here lately. In 2024, he checks a lot of boxes, obviously third in the model. Love that. And I kind of think API, and I'll have to go back and do the research. I kind of think API is a place where like mixed bag course history is fine. I mean, I think I think course history here is a little more predictive than it is at, say, PGA National. It's way more random. But I'm not afraid of a guy who's got some miscuts in here, but also a T9. Like, this place should suit Sam Burns quite well. He's hitting his irons better than he really has or at least consistently here in 2024. We're seeing better iron play out of him, which is quite good considering his prowess on Bermuda. So I like that. Keegan Bradley, interesting, great record here, coming off the miscut at the Genesis. I think a handful of folks had him at the Genesis playing well, but check some boxes. Matthew Pavon just continues to do the dang thing. Now, again, I'm recording this 8:00 Eastern on a Friday, so it's giving him a T14 finish for the Honda Classic right now. We're not even bet the number said F the Cognizant. Like, we don't even care. It's a Honda. Screw you. So he's currently at the T14 position. That's why it says that, but he may not finish there. But still, like, hard to deny how good this guy is playing. And he's doing it with approach play and putting. Like, super good. And it's not like Bay Hill is tricked out and hard to figure out. It's really not. It's just, but I think PGA National is good for him. Like, a tougher course, Florida, Bermuda, going straight to Bay Hill is going to be nice. Eric Mother freaking Cole. Holy crap, did he suck at the Honda. I'm saying the Honda. What the fresh hell happened to him? You know what I mean? How consistent has that guy been? And then how bad was he at the Honda? But here we are. I mean, what are people who do? Because he's probably still going to check boxes unless you're looking at only the last 4 rounds. Like, he's going to keep showing up in models. He's probably going to be a little longer in the odds. Obviously, this is a much stronger field. He's going to be longer in the odds. He's going to probably be cheaper in DFS. I mean, Eric Cole could be an interesting bounce back. Kurt Kitayama's been playing well this year already. Five events, no missed cuts, some decent finishes in there as well. The irons look to be pretty good. I mean, I haven't looked at it, but I would bet that his irons coming into this week are probably better than they were last year when he won. So I'm very interested to see what Kurt Kitayama opens at in the betting market. You know, Rory's T6 right now with the Honda. This play sets up perfect for him. Good to see him with some form. He loves Bay Hill. Like, wouldn't surprise me at all if Rory just wins the thing. Max Homa played really well here also, but he hasn't looked like the same Max Homa that we're used to seeing. So that will be interesting. Matt Fitzpatrick having a good week at PGA National, at least so far. Also a really good record here. Probably has a lot to do with, I mean, dang, actually, look at all the strokes seen off the tee he's had here. Wow. He's also done really well chipping here. Chipping and putting, he's done fantastic here. I mean, look at where is he? Where'd he go? Last 50 putting on Bermuda, third in the field. You know, that's great in Florida. Strokes gained total Florida. Yeah, takes advantage of the par fives. Fitzy's interesting. Jake Knapp. How about Jake Knapp? Hanging with Rory. T6 as well through 2 rounds at the Honda. Coming off the win, paired with Rory the first 2 days and goes toe-to-toe with the guy. Unbelievable. Jake Knapp might be the real deal, and he's a late bloomer. Unbelievable stuff. I'm very excited to see Jake Knapp here. We get to see Spieth since the DQ at the Genesis, and I don't mean Dairy Queen. Back-to-back T4 finishes in 2 starts here. If it's windy, we Cindy Jordan. Endy. We Cindy Jordan if it's windy. The guy is built for this place when it's most difficult. I still believe he's that player. I really do. The irons have not been great, but the game's been fantastic. He just finds a way to get it done. Be interesting to see where he opens up. Hideki's coming off the win at the Genesis. He's had a mixed bag here. Obviously, an elite iron player. And I gotta bring up Siwoo because Siwoo's working with the nappy factor. Just had his first child. I think it's a baby girl. I can't tell, but I think it's a baby girl based on my Instagram stalking. Shout out to our sweet South Korean prince. God love him. Super excited for him to be a dad. And I can't wait to see him at the Players here in just a week or so. Pumped about that. Never really done well here, probably because I don't think Siwoo loves this course. I bet he thinks it's a stupid course and wishes it were not a signature event, but here we are. But has had a decent year, like pretty decent year for Siwoo. Needs the putter to do something, but you know what? It could happen. I mean, guy's a Players champ, bro. You know what I mean? All right. I think that's everything you need to know. Nothing you don't. None of that extra BS. An early look at DB's API model. Hope you enjoyed it. Click the like button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Leave me a comment. Do all the above. Okay. If you're listening to podcasts, thank you. Check out Swanee's. Check out Bet the Number. And let's have a great week for the API. The shows are going to be good. We've got special guest, Matt Every, 2-time champ at Bay Hill. We got him making an appearance on the podcast this week. And we've got a special guest chatter in the Discord on Wednesday night. It's a signature event. You know, I promised you in the beginning of the year, if you're in the Discord every Wednesday night, we're going to have a special guest during signature events. And we've got one this week. I don't think you're going to want to miss it. It's going to be good stuff. Thank you. May your screens be green and bend over your bookie. See ya.